Hey, what's going on, Taka fan? Today I got a cool video for you guys. I've been waiting to show you guys this. So I went back on one of my older builds and was reflecting on some things, trying to fix the deck, make it more tight. So there's a card and a combo that should be played in all branded decks, I think. And none of us have explored it, and I think it would be a good idea. So the card I'm talking about here, Tri-Brigade, Nerval. So as soon as you guys see this, yeah, probably already caught on to what I was thinking. So I think this card is really good in this deck because sending it off of Branded Fusion is so free because you use that and you use Albaz, both of these from the deck, and you make Rembrandt. And then this would trigger. So now you just added a Tri-Brigade to your hand. So now you just got a Mercury for free. But it's not always going to go that way. So I think for this deck personally, with a bunch of cards like Nerval and text like that, I think they add a lot of dimensions to the deck. It's actually really good. And I know a lot of you guys probably thinking, oh, it's just a brick. It's actually not. So there's a lot of combos whenever you're fusing and you have Lost up and you search. You usually search the Mercarrier. But if you're sending this off of Fusion while you have Lost, you get this, and then you get to choose another monster that mentions Albaz to your hand. So you can get something like Cartesia. So here's a quick little combo here. So you could have cards like Foolish Burial. And you could even have cards like Lubellion. Like just these two cards is a pretty good combo too, which you guys probably see where this is going. You just discard him. And then you search Saronir. And then you just activate Foolish and you get to send the Mercarrier, and that's how you get the trigger with the Saronir by banishing this. And now you get to search any of the pieces that you need. So Foolish Burial becomes pretty good. So another thing that you could do, even with Foolish Burial, you can go Foolish. You can send the Nerval. And then when you send the Nerval, you just search the Mercury right there. So if you want to do this before you get to your fusion line, that's actually really good too. So opening something like white is really good in this deck too, especially with Nerval. So just with any Albaz, you can still do the same thing as long as you have a dragon. And if you use your graveyard, you can use your graveyard if you have him in your grave, or if you use him as any of the materials. So if you did send this earlier in any of the combos, you can still just banish this and then like fuse into the Rembrandt if you want. So if both of these are in the grave, you have two good targets. So, and another reason why that's really good, I'll show you. Quick little small combo. There's a few cards that you could do and use. So it's really good with the expulsion. So since this could target things in the grave and the banish, especially if you play like multiple Mercuries, it's really good too. But even with just one, what you could do when you do the whole line, so you have Albaz and these two banish, Albaz and Nerval, and you could tribute off your fusion monster and bring both of these back to the field. And then you would use his effect, discard any random card. We're just going to say sword just because I have it on handy. And now you could fuse these two. And that's how you can make Rembrandt. And then because you made that play, now you could use the Nerval, still search the Mercarrier. So even before you activate fusion, you could get to a monster negate, which I think is really good. And it's really good to still draw the Nerval. I have another combo. It's really good too. So if you do draw him, since he's not really a brick, he synergizes with this as well. So doing this in the draw phase and you open Nerval, you go activate High Spirits. You're going to reveal the Nerval. And then you're going to send the Rembrandt because they're both wing beasts. So you send this. And if you need to, you can search Albaz if you want. Or you can search Cartesia. So since we have an Albaz fusion in the grave, we could search something like Kit off of this. So you go this, reveal the Nerval, send the Rimbrum. And now you can either search one of these. You can search one of your extenders, but the best extender in this situation would be the search kit. So you go search kit, and then when it resolves, now Nerval will trigger. So now Nerval sits here and search the Mercury. So now you have two of an Albaz family type card, all in the draw phase for however way you want to use it. And Kit could always put back the Nerval if you want to send it later. So I think that's really good too. Let's see. There's another combo that I was thinking about, because there's a card I was considering. I don't have it on hand, but playing something like Small World seems pretty good in this deck, especially because there's a lot of times we hard open this card and we already feel like there's going to be an Ash. So if you have Small World, or if you use Small World, you can get to the Gamma, which I think is really good. So what you could do, say you have Small World and you did randomly draw the Nerval, which is fine. So you can go reveal with Small World. You can reveal the Mercarrier as a bridge, and then you could banish the Mercarrier or whichever one so that you can get to the Gamma. Because the only thing that they share is being a Wing Beast, and the only thing that these two share is having 0 defense. So I think that's really good too. And if they see you Small World, they might actually be tempted to Ash it if they don't know what you're playing, unless they know you. Because they're going to think something like Math Mech or something. But if not, and they watch you search Gamma, they're not going to want to really Ash. Or they might just do it just to get the Gamma out of your hand, which is not the worst. But if you Small World into this, you can go Gamma when they try to Ash your fusion. And I think that's really good, especially in this type of deck. Just more ways to stop Ash seems really good to me. And there's another combo. So I don't have a Farragut, but this is another thing that you can incorporate into your extra deck if you want to. Because there's combos where you could send these to the grave and just go crazy. Like, if you have this, especially because we do play some Beasts and Beast Warriors in this deck, even things like these three, for instance. So, if you're sending any of these to the grave, and you happen to open this too, which you could do, especially if this got banished. If you want to play Farragut, you could. You could use Nerval. We're just going to say we got rid of these two. So now you could bring Farragut in the extra monster zone. And then the Mercarrier will trigger. So now you can get an Albaz, or you can get something like Albion. Like in this situation, like the old Tri-Brigade play, you can just search Albion. And then Albion dump the sword. You get a random draw. And now you can use sword and target the Mercarrier or the kit and add it back to your hand. So you still get some more extenders, and you can get some more follow-ups as well. And let's see. What else can I show you? So we're going to use Saronir again. Saronir is really good, especially in this sort of deck. Obviously, he's the best Bistio to open. And I think that's really good, especially with you're trying to go for with some of the Tri-Brigade cards. You could do Tri-Brigade plays with these as well. But by itself, it doesn't do the most. It doesn't do that great. But like opening hands with like these two is not the greatest, but it's not the worst. Because like I said, you can always discard either one of these, especially with high spirits. And all these set up a lot of your combo plays that you want to do, depending on your route and depending on your hand. All right, guys, that's all I got for today. I know it was kind of rushed at the last minute, but I wanted to show you guys some of these smaller combos, especially with like using the kit, or if you play it. If you don't play the Springness kit, that's fine too. But Nerval adds a lot to this deck, at least in my opinion, because it also can synergize with this. So Brigand, so if you do hard open this is still really good. because if you still end up drawing the Mercarrier and then you send this later in the combo, you don't always have to float to Albaz. You can either search or special this if you need to. And if you search this, more than likely what you would be doing is setting up a play with Albaz. So if you somehow do a combo where you have an Albaz set up in your grave, especially with like Rembrandt, like that's a really good combo. Just having both of these in the grave is really good because you can get the Mercarrier during their turn if you need to. So if you open the Nerval and you have this play with the Rembrandt, so what you can do on your opponent's turn, use Rembrandt to target the Albaz. So you're going to banish the Rembrandt, and you're going to summon the Albaz, and you're going to activate Albaz effect. You're going to discard, and you're going to suck up any of their monsters. And you can make whatever you want to make here. So we'll just say that they just had a Fenrir, I guess. So now we end up summoning the Sprint, as you guys seen before. But now this would trigger, Nerval will trigger. So now, during their turn, you just search Mercarrier. So now you have a monster to negate immediately. So if they cut you off the lines from getting to Mercarrier for their turn, you still have plenty of ways to get rid of it. And even with cards like Opening, cards like Servant, all synergize very well. And surprisingly enough, it really fits in with the red. Because if you go for the play that I was talking about, where you would send Brigand to the grave and you search the Mercarrier, or if you have the Nerval, you could special this off this if you need to, and now you automatically have a monster on the field that you can use to whenever you're making Chimera, so you don't have to waste that many resources either. But alright guys, that was enough rambling. That was just like a small little tutorial, a little thing to explore about this deck. Hopefully you guys like this kind of content. If you don't, let me know. If you want to see some more crazy decks that Branded could play, make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe. And you could also share this with your friends. You know, be a little bit open-minded. You don't necessarily have to not be innovative, but I always prefer being innovative, especially with a deck like this. You can always try out different techs and stuff, especially because the Tri-Brigades, they're a part of the lore. So why not incorporate a good way to play them? But that's all I have for you guys today. Peace, Taka fam.